I'm Lola Magdalene Scott, and welcome to another edition of Rotting Corpse Productions Actor Spotlight. Today we're going to be interviewing Mr. Stacy Gillespie, otherwise known as the Kentucky film icon. Most of you don't know it, but in the state of Kentucky it is actually against the law to make a film without Stacy in it. You could get a $1,000 fine or 30 days in jail. In the year 2000, Stacy made his first appearance in an independent film called Zombie Planet. He actually was an extra to begin with, ended up doing 17 different roles, which netted him the nickname of the Man with 1,000 Faces. Mr. Gillespie has been doing acting for 14 years now. He also has created his own film in a fantasy genre, and it's entitled In the Eyes of Darkness. Stacy is still continuing his acting career today, and we hope you enjoy our interview with him. Hopefully he won't give us too many bad jokes. Well, hello, and thank you for joining us today, Mr. Gillespie.
Well, thank you, Lola.
My first question is, what got you involved in acting?
Well, about the year 2000, I was, me and a friend went to an audition, and I've never done any acting or anything like that before. He encouraged me to go, and we went down there, and they were doing a zombie flick. The name of it was Zombie Planet, with George Manila, and we were just going to try to be extras or, do whatever. When we got there, we found out that they were looking for people to be on crew and all that too. So we started hanging out with them, got to know them. They started filming pretty much every weekend and just fell in love with the whole process. I actually got to do, the first thing I ever did was like a test zombie. They put me in like a full zombie makeup, and we went out and shot like a day for night shot. And I just got to run around and run into trash cans and knocking on windows and falling on the floor and pretending like trying to starve to death, But it was a lot of fun. But yeah, ever since then, you get the acting bug in you, and ever since then, it's just been like, no hold bar. It's just, I guess I've always thought about being an actor, but he just saw an ad in the paper for the audition, and we went down there and took a chance, and never thought that it would be anything like this before. So far it's been a great experience.
Cool. How many films have you been in?
Oh gosh. Well, I've been doing it since 2000, like we were talking earlier, and I've been doing it for 14 years, I guess. And so if I did it every weekend, I was trying to figure out maybe like 50 films a year. It's usually 30 to 50 films a year. I was trying to count maybe a little bit between 400 and 500 films, I guess.
Wow.
Some of them are short films, some of them 48 hours, some of them are full length, But yes, and there would be all kinds. You talk about music videos, educational videos, just independent films, Hollywood films, just anything like that. Anything that's recorded on video. So I'm counting all of those. So.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, count them all. What has been your favorite role?
Favorite role? Wow, what a question. Out of all those, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I even have one particular role that I like. I maybe have a favorite style of role. Probably my favorite thing to portray would be a bad guy. I mean, they're always the funnest to play. You get to be totally opposite. I mean, I guess you can be like totally free of your character. A good guy's fun. You kind of know what to do in that situation. But like a bad guy, it's a chance where you get to be something different, and you can get away with it because it's fake,
Mm-hmm.
But bad guy roles are fun. And then I did a bunch of creature roles. I played a Yeti, zombie, vampire, werewolf, all those kinds of things. Those were a lot of fun too. Those were some of my favorites. But I don't guess I have any particular one. Maybe a style. So.
Cool. What's been your most challenging role?
I would say there's probably not just one, maybe two or three. Actually, one I did this summer. It's for a movie called Lost Creek. I play Ollie Marks. And there's a lot of really good dialogue. There's a lot of good interaction with other people. That was a really good challenge. There's a lot of dialogue to memorize. I think it was like 117 pages of paragraphs. And it was fun. I liked it. It was a good challenge. We made it through. It was good. I'll say another one was probably, I did a documentary for a character named Floyd Collins. I played Floyd Collins for this guy. That he was a character in history that died in the 20s when he went to Mammoth Cave. He dug his own way in to try to find a cave like Mammoth Cave for tourism. And when he went down there, the cave he went in was just not very functional, and he got stuck. And nobody knew about it for days until his family went looking for him, and nobody could get him out. Back then, they didn't have the technology, so he was stuck with this big rock that collapsed on him, and he died. And so I had to portray, the history, and I had to really know the history of that character and really dig in deep to what he was about and how he felt in that cave. And I guess the other big challenging role I had was in Edison Death Machine. It was a good guy role, but it was the first time I ever played a character to that extent, a good guy role. But it had a lot of good dialogue, a lot of interaction with other people. I guess that was the first challenging role I ever had, so that's why I'm listing that one.
Cool. If there is one film that you could burn all copies of, what would it be?
Yeah, I know everybody's got one of those. Well, it wasn't a feature film. It wasn't like a music video or anything, but it was a 48 hours project. Me and this girl went on one way in Louisville. So this guy, he wasn't prepared at all. I don't think he's ever done anything like this before. But he had this tent. It's so bad I forgot the name of the movie. I just know Jose was in the title. And he had a tent, and that was supposed to be a spaceship for the 48 hours science-fi thing he was doing. And he had radios and stuff. It was just the dialogue. We got there, and he said, all right, we're going to start writing the script. And we're like, we only had 3 hours to be there. That's the only time we had. So we started writing the script, and we had to act it and shoot it all in like 2.5, 3 hours. And it was just, poor guy. I felt sorry for him, but to be honest, it was a complete disaster. It just wasn't happening at all. It just, no good. So yeah, that would be the one that I would probably, throw away. Never want to be remembered again.
So how much do you draw on your own experiences when you act?
More so than you would think, if that makes sense. I think as an actor, when you portray a role, I think most of it would probably come from your life experiences. That or what you've seen in other people's lives in situations, like if there's a conflict and you see how that person dealt with that conflict. If you go back and remember that, you can draw from that. I do that a lot. If I'm having a difficult time with a role or a particular day, sometimes actors have off days with a particular emotion, like maybe sadness or anger or something. I try to draw back to a memory that I had that same feeling, and it seems to help to do that. And with that experience, it kind of brings you back to where you need to be with what you want that to be felt like. So I think that kind of helps in a lot of ways.
Okay. If you could star in a remake of any film, what film would it be?
Remake. My favorite, my favorite movie as I was growing up, actually. The first movie that I saw in theaters, which was Star Wars. I saw it on the big screen. I immediately fell in love with the Han Solo character and Harrison Ford. It was just a fun kid movie to go see. And I would love to be in that. Like, if they did a remake of that, I would love to be Han Solo, or heck, I don't care, even just a Yeti running around in the snow somewhere. I'm a big fan of Star Wars fan, big fan.
Yeah, I think that would be a movie pretty much everybody would like to be in. Who is your favorite person to work with, besides me, of course?
I guess it'd be anybody. It could be anybody, another actor who takes it serious, who actually knows their lines when they come into a film. Because to me, it's important when you're acting, to have that other connection with the other actor. Not just to go in there and, what's my line, what am I doing today? Somebody that's well prepared, somebody that really knows the character. That way, when you interact with them, you're not actors anymore. You're actually those characters, and you're making a connection with another character outside of normal life. And in the pretend child world, you begin to experience that again, and it's so wonderful to have somebody to be on that same level as you are when you're in that same level. That's the favorite person I'd rather be with.
Do you prefer to have a lead role or a supporting role?
I do prefer leads. I like interacting with several different characters throughout the film. But I've learned through life that the lead's not always the best character in the movie. There's always sometimes those supporting roles, or even the particular special written role, where that character is so interesting that it actually exceeds the lead or any of the other characters in the film. And it may be the fifth most important character in the movie. And it may be a character that's a climax to the movie, but not the lead. So probably if it was besides the lead role, that it would be that kind of role, something that you feel connected to and makes you want to be that character, something that you want to challenge with.
Cool. What advice would you give to somebody just starting out acting?
When I started out, I had the first director I worked with, George Manila. He really helped me out a lot as far as advice. He was good about giving great, deep depth advice on things. And I've learned through the years that the biggest thing that you have to have as an actor is passion, ambition, and just being happy with it. Not just, don't let the stress about it. There is stress in acting. There's a lot of stress in it. Don't let that overcome you. But if you want, the main thing is don't let nothing stop you. Don't let anybody or anything stop you from being an actor if that's what you want to do. And the most important thing, I think, is to stay humble, love people, and you'll be the best actor that you'll want to be.
Are you often compared to other actors?
Are you talking locally or famous?
Just
whatever.
Just whatever.
Now, I've had my aunt. She always calls me Nicolas Cage. I guess we look alike, or I don't know. I've had a director call me Jason Statham. I guess because maybe maybe we had the same facial hair or something. I had my head shaved in a film one time. Maybe he was, in the transporter. Maybe we kind of looked alike that way.
Are you working on any current projects?
Coming up soon. I wish I could mention one, but I can't. But the one I'm working on most recent is probably Terror at Crimson Creek. That's with Casey Miracle and Cherokee Hall, and a lot of their supporters. And it's a military, not military, but it's a prison film taking place in one location. And we're gonna shoot that next weekend. I think it's gonna be pretty exciting. I get to play kind of like the guard in Shawshank Redemption, the evil guard in that. So that's gonna be a challenging role. That's gonna be fun. Get to really
be your villain. Cool. What is the most important thing you've learned from the directors you've worked with?
Besides the typical things as an actor is supposed to do, one thing is, of course, to be in character, but when you're on set and you're in front of a camera, if you're struggling with something, I had the director tell me one time that the most important thing, I came up to him one time, I was like, man, I'm really struggling, I'm just not feeling it, and I don't know what to do. And he says, well, what are you feeling? I was feeling kind of just, I've had a rough time, and I was just feeling down and all. He says, well, just use that. Take that emotion. If you're feeling a lot of that emotion, use it. Take it and use it. And I went in, when we started shooting, I started thinking about it. And I used that emotion, and it really helped. It came out, and whatever you're feeling at the time, that's if you take what you have and apply it to what you need to do, then that really helps a lot.
Have you ever done any theater acting?
No, I haven't done a whole lot of theater. I've done a few plays. I find I love theater. I think it's a great experience to be in front of a live audience, and you only get one take of the whole thing. It does require a lot more time than film. You need a lot of rehearsals, a lot of character development, and building props and all that. My favorite thing, I think, as far as theater, if you call it theater, was music. Mystery dinner theaters. Those are really great and a lot of fun because you get to interact. It's kind of like film and theater both. You kind of interact with people, but you're still playing roles with characters, with each other too. But and my favorite one I did was like a Civil War one, and I got to play this character kind of like Val Kilmer at Tombstone. Mm-hmm. He was a kind of a gambler, ladies' man, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I've done a little bit of theater, but probably like to do a little bit more than I have.
Do you prefer theater or film?
I do prefer film. And the only reason I wouldn't choose, the best thing I do like about theater is the live performance. You get that instant reflection from the audience, if a show is good or not. You get that instantaneous thing where film, you'd have to wait to get a review or whatnot. But film is just, it's so more subtle, I guess, and it's easier, I guess. You get to do it again if you mess up. But I don't know, it's just something about watching it on the big screen, seeing what you've accomplished, seeing what everybody has done, the crew and everybody's put together to make this one image for 45 to an hour and a half long. It's a great accomplishment. It takes a lot of work, and I think it's anybody that finishes all the way through has really accomplished a great thing. And I think that's one reason I choose film over theater.
Are there any roles that you haven't done yet that you would really like to take on?
There's not a lot, unless I'm just not aware, but there is a few roles that I would like to do. I have played a mentally handicapped person, but I would like to play one in a more serious role. And I thought about this the other day. I would like to do something like the movie, like The Elephant Man. Mm-hmm. I would really like to portray something like that, because just his character, just what he went through, he had a lot of stuff that he dealt with, and I would really like to dig in deep and just try to see if I could portray what he sees, what life has gotten at him, and try to maybe portray what he went through. That would be one thing I'd like to try.
Cool. One final question. I know that you started a movie, In the Eyes of Darkness, like 100 years ago. Are you ever going to finish that thing?
Yeah, it's still in the darkness, but hopefully it'll come out and into the light soon. But yes, I will finish it, and I've worked too hard on it. It's in case for those that you don't know what it is, I call it a low-budget Lord of the Rings film. It's a fantasy film. It had like elves, dwarves, barbarians, wizards, everything fairies. You can think of. Fairies. He played a fairy in it. And yes, it will be done. And it was too much work and hard work not to get it done. So, but yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for taking the time to sit with us. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sitting through the interview. It's always a pleasure to do these. Happy filming.